in Southeast Washington, D.C. It's 7 years ago. And even in a crowd of people, Yukiya's presence stood out so much. So I asked one of, I think 120 pastors there, one of the pastors who she is. Then one pastor said, her beauty is not merely superficial. It's an inner radiance that emanates from the unwavering resolve, passion, sincerity, and tireless efforts. Yes. Yeah. She has cultivated throughout her life. That is true. Yes. And actually her powerful leadership and profound heart, profound love, have not only actually enhanced her own charm, but have also brought about dramatic changes in her family and communities. Later, you will listen her story. It's amazing. So wonderful influence. She continues to have on those around her has been growing ever larger and deeper since we met her, her that day until the very moment. And in the future also, this will continue. So she's a beautiful and wonderful wife, mother, entrepreneur, minister, and many more. Yes. And my beautiful sister, Yukiya Wilson.
Yes! Woo!
Thank you so much, Eureka. I'm honored to be your sister. It's oftentimes complicated to receive compliments when you're always the one giving them. Eureka calls on me so much when I get a notification and it says Eureka, I'm like, oh, would she need me to do that? But I'm grateful for that. And so I first want to start off by saying thank you to the founder of WFWP, Dr. Hawk Japan. Kaylee, thank you so much. Eureka, thank you again. I am reminded of a scripture, Psalms 37 and 25. I once was young, and now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous forsaken, or their seed begging for bread. It's going to make sense to you after a while why I said that. What an honor to be chosen, to be recognized. Myself born in 1978, Southeast DC, a neighborhood called Stone Lake. Google it for yourself. The crack epidemic swept across DC in the late 1980s. I was caught between city under siege, drug war, and crime. At that time, DC was called the murder capital of the United States. And so that's why I stand here with such grace and humility to accept this award. I always remind people how I was conceived. That's a part of my story. We're talking about her story, right? I was conceived in a prison. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here because my father was incarcerated, but I also shouldn't be here because my mother had a choice. She could have aborted me, but she didn't. And so every time I get the opportunity to stand before anyone, it's going to be with humility. Because God had a bigger plan for my life. And that's why you see me today. And that's why Eureka is able to call out all of these amazing attributes, because I went through some things. Because we know that God gives you beauty for ashes. And so I'm grateful for if this is what ashes look like. Come on. Both of my parents addicted to not just the drugs, but the lifestyle of poverty. My life had no color, no focus, or excitement. I was determined not to conform. As a young girl, I always had an innate ability to feel, sense, and dream really big. I always knew I would arise above what I was birthed into. I had to create the lifestyle I wanted. And I did this by falling in love with things and movies and Hollywood glam and movie stars and college students and those who were wealthy, those who had the American household with the dogs and the two-parent household, because I didn't come from that. At a young age, I fell in love with rhinestones, brooches, buttons, pins, patches, lace, cotton, and other fabrics. These things could be found at your local thrift shop. Somebody talk to me. Come on. They can be found at your local thrift shop, your grandma's sewing kit, or just around the house. These items could take an ordinary outfit and turn it into a masterpiece of uniqueness. As I grew older, I faced more challenges, but I didn't let them dim my light. With every setback, I added another certificate. The certificate is significant. It was a brooch. I added another degree. Another degree was the piece of satin or the piece of lace. I added another business. The other business was a button. Every time I got bored, I added another sparkle to my life. Each misstep, I connected a new person. Each inconvenience, I found someone who already made it to places I wanted to be. I had mentors, I had coaches who pushed me further than I'd ever been before. Now at 47, I embrace the journey that brought me here. Life will get ugly, but I've learned to add luxury to it. Both in my heart and in my dreams, I continue to sparkle not just for myself, but for those who need to see a dandelion that can bloom beautifully, even through concrete. I want to pause and I want to say thank you to, I asked her to record, and I probably shouldn't because she's probably going to cry because she likes to be inconspicuous. But my sister, she showed up today. I will also say this. The Bible also says that a prophet is without honor in his own home. Sometimes you can be as great as you are and the people closest to you won't see it. But I thank God for every person in this room. I have your attention. I have your ear. You can be anywhere. You could have got up and walked out and said, I don't want to hear anything she got to say, but you stayed. And so to my sister who rearranges her schedule, and she makes it possible because she says, I know I got to be there to support you, but not only do I have to support you, I got to record. I got to take pictures. I got to create memories for you. And so whenever you find a sister that rearranges her schedule, you got to thank God for that. And so to the women that are here, remember, whether you show up quietly, stop it. Whether you show up quietly and whether you leave silent, make sure that you left impact however you leave. Thank you again for having me.